pauses while we get onto the right screen for what you're doing this afternoon. So, talking of which, there's one of those screen shares going on right now. And this is obviously just once again to welcome you. It is award seasons. The BAFTAs were last night. The Oscars must be incoming fairly soon. And so, of course, is another fantastic year for the Chamber Business Awards. And we're massively excited every year. We're massively excited about the awards. It is one of our absolute showpiece occasions. And that's not for our benefit, that's for the benefit of the nearly 700 people that attend that award ceremony. And also for the process of actually getting involved with the awards each year and the ability there to have recognition for your people and for your businesses. So the awards themselves are taking place on the 11th of June, and that's at Worcester Arena. One or two of you, I'm sure, have perhaps been to the awards in the past, but it is a fantastic event. We are always blessed with stunning weather as we arrive at the arena from 5:30 onwards. And anybody that's been to a netball match or a basketball match at the arena will be astonished at how it can be transformed into such a magnificent occasion and magnificent room to celebrate everything that's going on across the two counties. And that is really important. And I do have a slide later on where you'll notice that with the awards last year, that the two counties were definitely recognised as they were with the number of entries that we had. And so that's really important to us. So in terms of attending the awards, there's lots going on. Drinks arrive. There's photo booths. There's the logo sponsors and the photo board, so people can recognise the fact that they're at the event and get their social medias working. We have drinks at reception on arrival. Then wine on the table and fantastic catering provided by the university team. And then once the awards have taken place, about 200 people then disappear into town for the after party, which is once again going to be held at the Botanist. So it's a magnificent event for recognition, but equally it's a celebration. And we make sure that we get that balance right between celebrating the businesses and also recognizing everybody's achievements. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand you over to Yas. So this is one of our screen shares going on. Yasmin, who heads up the awards and some of the work that goes on with the awards, she's going to run you through the platform that we use to actually submit your entries and work through those entries. So over to you, Yas.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully this goes to plan. Some of you may recognise this screen, but for those who haven't started an entry yet, what you need to do is firstly go onto the Chamber website and go Events and Business Awards, and this screen will pop up. And then all you need to press is enter here. And now you will actually, if I just move that, sorry, if I just log out for now, I should be able to log back in quite easily. So you will have this page first of all, and this is basically the platform we used throughout the entry process, from when you submit an entry to the judging process right until the very end. Everything is done on this platform. So what you need to do is create a new account if you haven't got one already, as it won't be the same account as your chamber account, if that makes sense. So create a new account. Obviously I've got one ready. And then you need to log in and you will be met with this page, hopefully. So you'll see some of the key information here, all of the key dates and deadlines. That's all for you to view. Please take a look at our promo video from last year. That's always good to look at. And then we've got the support down here. So just have a read of that if you want to. And then if you scroll right down to the bottom and start entry, you'll have this page come up. So what happens here, we have 15 categories you can enter into. So whatever you can have 3 entries over the 15 categories, and it's completely free if you're a chamber member. It is £50 plus VAT per entry if you're a non-member. So you will be invoiced for that afterwards. But basically, if you choose the category you think you would fit into best, and you can do this by, for example, Charity Business of the Year, the description will be underneath here. So that's where you can see if you're a good fit or not, and then likewise with all of the others. And then, yeah, the sponsors on the other side of the page. Once you've selected the category you think you'd be right to enter into, you need to just put your business name, and I am just going to put Yaz for now, and then save and next. So you'll then get the contact information. If you just fill all of this out, save and next, and basically it's just quite basic information about your business, number of employees, which chamber you belong to, etc., etc. You'll then come to the financial information, which is here. This isn't scored, so don't worry too much about this. But just make sure it's correct, but you won't be scored on that part of the entry, just so you're aware. Then you'll get to category questions 1, and there's 2 questions in there. So please provide a brief description of your business. And then it says here, this is our little tip that we use. So you should cover the nature of your business, your products and services, your customers, markets that you operate, and so on and so forth. So there'll always be some kind of tips in the dark grey section. So you have 200 words to write in here. I would advise using all of the words to the best of your ability. You can also do this outside of the platform, for example, in Word, and then copy and paste it into the platform if you wish to do so. So if you go through those 2 questions, you then get to the set of the next questions, and there's always 4 in there. So these are specific to the category. So these will always change. So as you can see, what is your innovative, I can't never say that word, product, service, application, or operation, and what research and development took place prior to its launch. And then you'll get in the dark grey section some little tips and what you should be covering for the judges to see. So you'll see the word counts on each question as well. You won't be able to go over that. So just make sure you're using the right wording and yeah, the wording to the best of your ability to fit into those boxes and sections. Once you've been through all the questions, so there's a total of 6 questions per entry. You go on to the attachment section, and we'd really recommend attaching 5 files. So these could be either, I don't know, a picture, some statistics are always really good. I know you'd be the best for this. What do you think would be the best to upload on that?
The best things to upload as far as attachments is concerned is if you've mentioned something which is particularly vital for you feel is vital for your application, is to make sure that there is perhaps some sort of backup to that particular point. So if you've referred to a strategy document, or if you referred to perhaps feedback from clients, that's the opportunity to put that document or to put that email or to put that letter into that particular section there. If it's fine, if you've got a certain security problem with that, i.e. a confidentiality agreement, you can always blank out certain parts of it. But for us to be able to see those attachments is really, really useful to back up what the words say.
Yeah, perfect. So then, so once you've uploaded your attachments, you can then go on to terms and conditions. You'll see quite an important date here. So you need to be free between Monday the 13th of April and Friday the 24th, but you will have a specific judging day. So we will be in contact with you if you get through as a finalist, but it will be between those 2 weeks. Obviously read the T's and C's, and then you can save and close, so you can keep coming back into it and working on it for the next 3 weeks. And then once you're ready, submit entry. You can also from here have a look at the different questions. So if you maybe didn't think that category was right for you, maybe manufacturing would be better, for example, you can then save it next and have a look at the questions straight away before you start answering them, so you know it's the right fit for you. So yeah, like I said, you can have up to 3 entries. So we definitely recommend going for the full 3 if you can. But that's the little demo done. If anyone has any questions about the platform, then please feel free to email the events at hwchamber.co.uk email address, and the team will get back to you. Or, for example, if you can't log in, we'll be able to get back to you on that. So that's the live demo. As I said, if you've got any questions for now, then please pop them in the chat and we can go through them at the live Q&A in a moment. So I need to get back to
let's swap
this.
screens. Yep, brilliant.
Okay.
And there we go. So back to me. Thanks, Yaz. That was really, really useful run through the platform, which is an extremely user-friendly platform. And we'll come on to some of the top tips later on, but I have to say that I've already been asked by somebody whether or not they can send the criteria for each award. Well, by going on and registering and doing that process of looking at each one, you can see what the questions look like, and then you can start maybe matching your business with the award that you think you're most suited to. So let me just talk you through the judging process. Excuse me. So deadline for entries is 3 weeks today. So the process has been open now for probably 3 or 4 weeks, and entries have been coming in and people have started entries. But you've got till Monday the 16th for the close of play, the 4 o'clock on that particular date. And then what happens, in fact, that very week, on the Wednesday and the Thursday of that very week, is that a panel of chamber senior managers reviews all the applications and allocates a particular score to those applications. And then what happens with those scores is that they get then detailed per category. They will get detailed, and a top scoring list will be created. And that's normally 5 per category. So that particular process is when your application will get viewed for the first time. And that's why it's so important that getting that particular application right with all the information you want is the best place to be, because that's when the chamber panel will be looking at those. So then the next stage, which Yaz mentioned there, is that another set of judging takes place, which is with those businesses that have been identified as scoring top in their category. And that's those dates, the 13th to the 24th of April. And on one particular day, all 5 of those finalists will be interviewed by another member of the Chamber of Commerce who hasn't been involved in the shortlisting, and then also an external judge, which is often an external judge from the sponsor of that particular award. And so the sponsors are often very relevant to the actual category as well. So you have a professional external judge as well as a different member of Chamber of Commerce staff. They're Zoom interviews, they're 45 minutes long, and those interviews then get judged and allocated a second score. And you know what's coming now. Those 2 scores get added together, and that's how we get to our final winners. So as you can see through that process, different people are involved in the process. So there is always an independent nature to how they are being judged and how they are being scored. Now, then you then get to the stage where you know that you've been nominated, and then we encourage everybody to purchase tickets and to attend the event. Yes, remind me, if you are nominated, you do get a ticket for the event, don't you? Is that correct or not?
No.
Oh, Frank, good job I asked then. Good job I asked. Okay, so that's why you're encouraged to purchase the tickets. And then obviously on the night, with 700 businesses in the room, we announce the finalists and we announce the winners. And there's 15 categories, but there's one bonus category on the night, which is the winner of winners. It's called the Business of the Year. And that's chosen from another judging panel. So again, people that haven't been involved in the initial process, and that's where we get that winner there. So if we could move on, that'd be great. So why do people enter the awards? Well, we're going to hear from Matt Parsons later from Surf Tech, and he'll be explaining their personal experience, which will give us a sort of hands-on example. But in many cases, entering the awards gives businesses a massive opportunity to gain exposure for what they do. We, as a Chamber of Commerce, and I, as one of the judges in the preliminary stages, we learn an awful lot about some of the businesses that we have in Herefordshire and Worcestershire. So, gaining exposure for your business is fantastic. And growing the network that you're actually working within. A lot of businesses have actually benefited from their nomination and, of course, from their win, but from their nominations because it just makes them stand out from the crowd, if you like. People get recognized, they find out that that business exists, they find out that that business is obviously doing a very good job because of their nomination, but equally, it allows the business perhaps to grow networks and to raise their exposure. But importantly, for businesses where perhaps there is a team, it's actually a great opportunity to improve staff morale. It's a fantastic recognition, if you like, of some hard work that takes place over the course of a number of years, where to be able to enter an award and actually and I come on to this later, but to be involved in that process of entering an award just makes people sometimes think this is amazing what we do here, and I totally endorse what we're saying in this application because that's what we do. And then, of course, if you are an award winner or a nominee, people will notice. And it could well be that you may well attract talent to your business, but equally, because of nomination and because of perhaps winning, some of those people in your team will want to stay. They will retain that talent in the organization as well. So there's a number of really positive reasons to get involved in the awards. And the process of completing the application is sometimes a really nice opportunity just to be able to sit and think, do you know what? We actually do things really well around here. And why don't we just have a go at these and see how we get on? Let's keep going, shall we?
I would like to quickly say you also do get a logo as a finalist as well, which you can put on your email footers, on your website. So whether you're a winner or a finalist, you will get a logo that you're able to use on social media, etc.
And talking of winners, there you have a list there of the 2025 winners of the Chamber of Commerce Awards. And it's quite useful to point out, I think, that I've been mentioning both counties over the course of this afternoon already. And if you look there, you've got people like Dawley's, you've got Wyvale Nurseries, you've got Miss Millie, all based over in Herefordshire, working obviously doing fantastic work. And Hereford and Worcester Fire and Rescue, of course, spanning both counties as well. So it's important to see it's a celebration of both counties. And one of the things I would mention, as having listened to all about the BAFTAs this morning, is there's many actors and there's many producers out there that have made careers out of nominations. They've not actually ever won an Oscar. They've never won a BAFTA. So actually getting that nomination has launched their careers and raised their exposure. So being part of the process is absolutely fantastic. And obviously we're going to hear from Matt a little bit later on, and he's going to tell us what's been going on there. So so let's move on there. So just to give you a bit of feel for some of the things that we would actually say are sort of top tips, if you like, as we move forward. And we've touched on this already, but choosing the right category or the right categories, and we do encourage people to do multiple entries, is really important. And what Yaz has shown you today is the opportunity for you to actually go and check those criteria and perhaps even to eliminate some of those categories from your ideas. So you think, right, we can't do that one. We're not going to do that one. So let's concentrate on these. Which ones are these? And then eventually you may well come to maybe one, two, or three categories. You think, yes, that really fits us and it really fits what we do here. And they're the ones that we're going to have a go at. And it might be that that's where you involve the rest of the team, because by involving the team, somebody else might say, have we ever thought though that we do so much work in the field of sustainability, but actually we take it for granted because it's just what we do? Somebody might have a particular passion to want to enter that particular category, get that person involved, and who knows, that passion might be able to sort of generate into a cracking entry. And reading the questions and make sure you answer them. We, as a judging panel, obviously get involved in those initial the initial applications, and unfortunately, there are occasions where as a judge, you have to remind yourself what the question was, because actually what you're reading, you're thinking, heck, about, I don't think this is actually answering the question. So please make sure that you do choose your category and read the questions as you go along. So top tip number two is to try and keep the format as if you're doing multiple, keep to the format. So look at the question, you'll see what information is required and how much is actually required. And remember that certainly in the initial judging process, it's quite possible that that judging panel will be reading the applications from maybe 3, 4, 5 different categories. And those categories could have maybe well, one particular category last year that I judged had 27 applications into that category. So you can imagine that it's really, really important to make those particular applications very, very precise in the information that you're actually presenting, that it creates a really good story. You keep the language and the information simple and easy to read. Perhaps use bullet points, perhaps use different headings. But what I would also say here is that Yaz used the terminology of copying and pasting, perhaps using Word to create your documentation and then dropping it into the thing. But if you're doing multiple applications, please do vary them slightly, because if you do 3 categories and you have to describe what your business does in 3 different applications, just tweak the description of your business to actually match or to actually emphasize the category that you are entering. So, for example, if you're doing best use of IT, or if you're doing sustainability, or if you're doing service to the community, just make sure that, yes, perhaps you will be describing your business in a very similar way, but make sure you make it relevant to that particular application. And this is where I have to use those couple of letters that are on the tip of everybody's tongue at the moment, and that is AI. There is a temptation in our daily lives now to use AI prolifically. And I think that's because there's been a mood change and definitely a switch of opinion that AI is no longer cheating. AI is actually boosting productivity, and it's allowing you to do things quicker. It's perhaps allowing you to create pieces of work that AI perhaps help you by that creation. We're not going to say you cannot use AI. What we are saying here is you use AI successfully and sensibly as you do in your daily life right now. And we had an example about 15 minutes ago where we wanted to check something, and by using Copilot, we were able to get the answer that we needed. So AI is not cheating. AI is boosting productivity and helping you with your application, but please don't rely on it, because it will get spotted. And that's, as you know, you can also always spot something that's been done through AI. Okay, let's move on. This is really key, because the person that's reading your application may not necessarily know your business. And so this is your opportunity to celebrate and to tell that person how amazing your business or your organization is. Because I can tell you that over the course of the last 4 or 5 years that I've judged in these particular applications, I have learnt so much about people's companies. And it just went to show what incredible companies we've got across the 2 counties. So make sure you tell that story. Make sure that that person who is judging will know something that they don't know now, and it will be a really pleasant surprise to them, and they'll be extremely impressed with what they're reading as far as that's concerned. Yeah, make it a good read. That's how I would probably do. So use examples, use evidence. So instead of saying that you have a particular percentage in terms of customer service satisfaction, for example, detail how that was measured, and detail perhaps some examples of some feedback that you've received. And one of the other things I think about making it a good read is that make sure you do answer all the questions, and you do use that maximum word count, because it is vital that you tell as much of your story as you possibly can. And as I mentioned just seconds ago there, if you have done something which has been measurable, then use that, because evidence that is measurable is a lot easier for a judge to say when they're trying to compare 2 or 3 different applications. And this could be because they have to go back because there's a tie. They might have to go back and look at particular applications. If you've got some hard facts and some measurable evidence, then that's going to be of great help to the judges there. Yeah, and I think awards applications are as much about what you've done in the past, the immediate past, or perhaps the last 2 to 3 years, as they are what you're doing right now. But it's also a real opportunity for the judges to learn of what you're planning to work towards in the future, what ideas you're working on, perhaps what innovation you are working towards in your business and in your industry. So it's all part of telling that story that I've mentioned on a couple of occasions. It's telling a story that the judges will be interested in, and it might just spark their attention to give you higher marks. So please make sure you talk about the future. And I've mentioned this a couple of times, haven't I, about working as a team. And I think you can tell in some people's applications where a number of people have actually been involved. Sometimes those people are actually mentioned in the application. And what happens, and the reason why it's important to actually involve the rest of the team, is if you're successful enough to get through to stage 2, where you will actually have the interviews, then make sure that the people who are in those interviews actually did the applications. Because I do remember a few years ago where the person that did the interview, I don't think they'd even seen the application. And unfortunately, as a result, they weren't very successful because we were asking questions based on the application. And so it makes sure you involve people from the start and you have people who are involved who will certainly be able to speak about the business as you move forward. Of course, if you run your own business, then we'll only expect you to be there on the screen. But if you do have colleagues and teams that you work in, make sure they get involved as much as possible. And it's often quite important to maybe get a second or third pair of eyes on your application because, as you can tell, you can start your application, but you don't have to submit it straight away. So what you could do is you can get somebody to have a look at those and to have a look to see what you've done, see what they think as far as an application is concerned. You never know, they may well have been judges in business awards over the years and might actually be able to give you some really good feedback as far as that's concerned. And obviously, it goes without saying, we encourage accuracy and we encourage honesty. Please check your numbers. Please check your finances. We don't actually judge you on your finances because that wouldn't be fair for certain businesses that perhaps have been trading for 100 years in 100 countries. Then their turnover is going to be significantly greater than a sole proprietor, for example. But there is Companies House. There are other ways of us double checking that some of the information is correct. So please just make sure everything's as accurate as possible and as honest as possible, quite obviously. Oh, yeah, sorry, I've done that one, haven't I? Yep, and I've done that one as well. There you go.
Top tip 8.
Top tip 8. Fantastic. Seamless, as you can tell. Quite ironically, actually, this one's about don't leave any blanks. So yes, so make sure you get your slides in the right order, Robert. So if you are filling in an application form, those application forms, of course, will have certain number of marks attached to each particular section. So if you leave a blank, then those marks don't count. So if it's out of 30 and there's 5 points in a particular section and you leave it blank, then suddenly we can only judge you out of 25. So that is really important that you fill that. We talked about the copy and pasting earlier because that's very much if you're doing multiple categories, just vary perhaps the description of the businesses. And we had this slide in because we don't want you to use AI to cheat. We want you to use it productively and to use it to the benefit of your application, like you do in all your work probably right now. So just a couple of sort of don'ts there, if you like. And that's really particularly if you are doing multiple entries, that's for sure. And then you've got 3 weeks. Some of you on this call may already have started. You may have registered your applications, which is fantastic. You've still got 3 weeks to complete those. But if you haven't started yet, you have got 3 weeks, but please leave plenty of time. The deadline's Monday the 16th at 4 o'clock, but we would recommend that you don't leave it till 4 o'clock on Friday the 13th, for example. Just please make sure you give yourself time to get those applications in. we do have heavy traffic on the site in those days leading up to the deadline. So it's always best to make sure that you've got yourself, or everything's in place, everything is nicely put together. You're happy with your application, and set yourself, if you like, set yourself an unofficial deadline of maybe the Monday before, Monday the 9th or something like that. See what you think. But you've got 3 weeks, so there is time, and we would hope that you could get involved in as many of those applications as possible. So, what we're going to do now is I'm going to hand over to Matt Parsons at SurfTech IT. Matt has had huge success with his company over recent years. He's one of those businesses that has really been able to take advantage of being successful in some of these awards. And Matt, I wondered if you could give us a little bit of a feel for, what's your experience been? Obviously, it's been positive because that's why you were certainly the winner of Excellence in Customer Service last year. But what's been your experience of doing the entries, the evening itself, but maybe also, how it's benefited your business following the awards? Over
Sure,
to you.
Robert. Thanks for the introduction. So for us, we've actually won the awards 3 times. We won Micro Business back in 2021, we won Customer Service back in 2022, and we won in 2025. Although we weren't on your slide, Rob. I need to give you a dressing down for not including us on your slide of winners. But as far as the experience goes, it's a great opportunity to get your name out there in front of other organisations. We've been known to talk to, I say, other businesses around our awards. I suppose it showcases that the core of what we believe and do as an IT services business is all around customer service. And there's nothing better than having an accolade of being, I suppose, an award in customer service to really show that and presentate that to the wider business community. But again, there's lots of people in the room. It's a great talking points. We're now strategic partners of the Chamber, so that was a recent thing we did in the last 12 months, and we're building on those relationships. And it's really helping carrying us forwards, really, as far as a business goes.
And have you got any tips for us, Matt, about filling in that entry form? Because obviously you're presented with it. There it is. It's a form you guys are familiar with these days, but obviously each year you've moved on, as you've said yourself, from micro business to obviously now winning the awards, particularly last year's Excellence in Customer Service. Any tips for the people on the call today in terms of filling that application form in?
Yeah, certainly. I think there's elements of basically jumping down rabbit holes. I think as you answer questions, you can go off the topic. So I think it's really important to make sure you do stay on topic. And I think obviously a lot of your tips are very similar to the ones I'm going to resonate to you now, really. So answering the direct questions, avoiding rabbit holes, making sure you're providing lots of value. Make sure you're using bullet points to I suppose cut through a lot of the chaff to make it really obvious of what point you're trying to get across. So if you're talking about customer service, have you got a customer service charter? Putting down those bullet points and then attaching them to it as I say, as a way of evidencing what you're actually doing. I remember we actually took screenshots of Google reviews. We had our customer service charter. We shared our KPIs around how we measure customer service as an example, and it all helped resonate through everything that we were saying and doing, so that when they got down to the evidence of actually we are measuring it, and this is how we look on paper in regards to what stats I look at as a business owner, how we're delivering on those KPIs.
And have you got any feelings for which categories you might want to have a crack at this year?
Oh, it'd be nice to be winners of winners, wouldn't it? Ultimately, one day. I think also we'll go for customer service once again. It's one of those we're very strong in. But I'll be honest, I've not had a chance to even look through many of the categories this year. But yeah, we're definitely going to put our name down for 2 or 3, definitely this year. Even if we're just nominated, it's great to have our name read out to all the people at the awards. So yeah, always good to be mentioned.
No, good stuff. No, well, good luck with that. And I know SurfTech will get the team involved as well, won't you? So
Always.
it's a team effort that you guys get involved in, which is fantastic. So Matt, thank you for that. Really, really appreciate it. It is fantastic to be able to have somebody who has won the awards on this particular call. So what I'm going to do now, and this you might be involved here, Matt. I've got a feeling you might be involved. We're going to do a bit of Q&A. So while people have been listening, have you come up with, actually, if we stop sharing, and then that way we'll be able to see everybody. So we can do this with the old-fashioned method of putting your hand up, or we could do it with the very techie method of putting your virtual hand up. But we do have some questions here. So can you only enter one chamber awards? No. So a question there from Tina, I think would probably mean if you were a member of Hereford and Worcestershire, but also had dealings with maybe Greater Birmingham Chamber of Commerce, then you are able to enter each chamber's awards independently, because we actually operate as a two-county chamber here. Of course, we have members who are based what we refer to as slightly out of area, but doesn't matter which Chamber of Commerce awards you can enter that way.
Can you write the email, Yasmin?
Yep. So
Do you mean Lena, do you mean the events email address?
Yes, please, Jasmine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
perfect. Okay, that we can
I'll
put that in.
pop that in there. Liking.
Okay, that's a compliment to you there. I don't know what that means, but anyway, there we go. Okay. Can I attach pictures or documents of my? Yes, 100%. In the attachment section of the application, you can definitely attach documents and attach company achievements.
I think it's limited, isn't it, Rob? To, is it five attachments
yeah.
last time? So
Yeah,
yeah,
correct.
use them wisely.
Yeah, 5 chances.
Did you say that using a chamber login details, do you have to set up a new one for the awards board?
So the chamber login for the chamber website does not I can't think of the word, does not correlate with the platform login. So you have to log in with a completely separate new login. So just your email address and a random password, and you'll be able to log in separately to the chamber website.
Gabriella, is it harder for a business that offers products rather than services to win? No, I would say that it makes no difference. It is equal opportunity, and I mean that most sincerely. Over the course of certainly the 5 years I've been with the chamber, there has been a very much a balance between people that are maybe manufacturers or engineers to charities to professional services companies. So there's not necessarily an advantage of one or the other. Everybody is looked at exactly the same, because essentially what's happening there is that the principles of the application will be the same, whether or not it's a product or a service which has been essentially provided to the customer or to the end user. So no, that is certainly something. Please feel free to make applications based on whichever product or service that your business is offering. And I think in terms of attachments, is there bandwidth to put videos in, or is that?
I believe it's only a JPEG or a PDF file that you can upload onto the platform. So unfortunately, I don't think you can put videos on that platform.
I would say that's something to do with the system and the capacity of the system to be able to cope with videos. But certainly, if that video had a script that, or basically the essence of that video could be put into a testimonial, then essentially it's a similarly valuable attachment to put there.
Okay, thank you.
So that's the chat questions, I think. Are we at the bottom?
Yeah.
I'm looking out for any hands up that might be coming around. I can't see any.
Anyone got any final questions they'd like to ask?
No? Okay. Obviously, if you do want to use that email address, events@hwchamber.co.uk, if there's anything that about 1:05 this afternoon, you think, I wish I'd asked that, or I didn't really want to ask that on screen, then please just drop that email, that question, and we'll come back to you and answer it for you. So please do that. And what we'll do now then is we'll give you some. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yes, no problem at all. Go for it. CJ, where are you, sir? Or please just type it. It's up to you.
Better.
This is like waiting for my football team, the score to come through on the teleprinter.
Hi, can you hear me?
Ah, yes, good stuff.
Hi,
We've got
sorry,
you. That's quite all right.
technical problems there. I was going to ask the Chamber Awards, is there say if we had a few people of our company that wanted to go, is it a ticket per person or how does it work out? Do you have company tickets or?
You're the expert.
Okay, so you can either buy a single ticket, or you can purchase a table of 10.
Okay, lovely.
So
That's
yeah,
great.
a lot of people go for the option of a table of 10, so everyone can sit together, or yeah, of course you can buy single tickets too.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. Cheers.
No problem. Okay.
Okay, good. Right, I think that has covered everything. Just a big thank you to everybody for coming on the call this afternoon. I hope it's been useful and I hope it's perhaps created some questions that you might have for your application. So please make sure you keep communicating with us. As you go into the Awards Force site, you'll see the various sponsors that are involved with each award. So I would like to thank those sponsors for being involved with the awards there. Matt, thank you to you for your insight this afternoon. I'm off to print off your logo 1,000 times and then airdrop it into the Worcestershire business community. We'll be having a debrief following this particular call.
Always a pleasure.
Joking apart, thank you very much for your contribution, and it's good to see Claire on the call as well. Nice to see you, Claire. So everybody, good luck with the process. We look forward to obviously receiving your applications, and who knows, we look forward to seeing your name in lights at Worcester Arena on the 11th of June in all that beautiful sunshine that we'll have in June. Okay, folks, take care, and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.